Hello friends, it's Aubrey from Crybaby Sentimental Homestead. Today I am putting together a Mod Podge of various clips I took that didn't at the time seem to have a theme, but now I've got one. So I want to show you some of the flowers that I have growing around the property, and some of them are not growing now, some were growing a little while ago, and I'm waiting for seeds. I'm going to show you how I collect my lavender seeds. I'm going to remind you about the footage we did about sprouting lavender. We'll do an update and look at the lavender seedlings, see how those are doing. I'll show you my trick on collecting the seeds from lavenders especially. And then I'm going to show you how some of the gladiolus have bloomed. Beautiful colors on those. And how you can really save money on seeds. I have a particular hack I haven't shared with you yet. I'll show you some of the plants I grew from those seeds I acquired. So I'm going to show you the plants, and I'm going to show you the footage of how I priced out the seeds and got them for a real bargain. Alright, so I'm also going to put in a clip of the chickens in the yacht. I had a short video, but I didn't do it justice because it cropped out some of the area. Whenever you do that, it kind of crops off the sides, and it didn't go quite as long, so you didn't get to see as much of it. It was just really short, like a minute and a half. But I'm going to share that with you again so that you can see how adorable those baby chicks are and what free range looks like in the country. So when I'm raising my hens, I have them in a really nice, I mean, it's nice for them, really huge backyard coop that was made with all recycled, reclaimed materials. But the particular one I'm going to share with you is actually from my brother-in-law's property, where he has lots of room for the chicken to just run around and have a good life. So I want you to see that. It's really cute. I couldn't stop laughing at the yacht because it was like the chickens have a yacht, you know. So in this video, we're going to look at the beautiful flowers blooming. I'm going to show you how to collect seeds for the lavender. For the gladiolus, I'm going to show you seeds in the future when they actually go to seed. So kind of put a pin in that for later. But I'm going to show you the gladiolus in bloom. They're just so beautiful. And then later I'll show you how to collect the seeds. And a lot of people don't know the gladiolus are another flower that has edible properties. So that's pretty cool. Let's get to it. I just wanted to show the flowers in this planter box here and draw your attention. This is about to bloom. I'll have to show you in a couple of days, or maybe a day or two, when this gladiolus actually blooms. Gladiolus are originally from Africa, and they're named for the blade of a gladiator. See how that looks like a gladiator's blade? So we'll come back and see this in a day or two. And meanwhile, you can enjoy the calendula and the rose campion. These beautiful gladiolus. I love these, they're beautiful. And I was lucky enough to find somebody on, I think it was nextdoor.com, who was getting rid of their black-eyed Susans. They're just kind of trying to free up some space, but they kept a chunk for themselves, and they gave me a bunch more, which I potted up. And some of them are blooming already. Isn't that lovely? Look at these happy free-range chicken and their chicken coop. That's hilarious. My son said, "Can I go on the boat?" I was like, "No, that's the chicken coop." That's too funny. So we were sad that Jordy, our rooster, went to rooster heaven and became soup. But that one, there's his child. And apparently that one there is also. I heard chirping and look at the babies. Oh, they're so tiny, I can't even get them. Let me see if I can get closer. See? Oh, they're so cute.
Come on, you and your chickens.
Look how happy they are. Uh-oh. I'm not gonna hurt you. Are you coming at me? I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm not gonna eat your babies. Okay. They're also finding sanctuary in the tall weeds. Growing roses, and yet my area tends to get this black spot. However, there is one specimen that I found that really, I wouldn't say is immune, but is resistant. No, it's not this one. It's this one here. Now there is, there are some spots here that don't look so fabulous, but overall, that's the plant. It's doing great. This is Rugosa rose, and it's known for the larger edible rose hips. It was the cheapest rose plant I have ever purchased from Baker Creek. It was very small when I got it, and it is just thriving. It has kind of a bush habit. It looks really nice on the edge of the property. So even though it says $12 on sale, about 6 pounds, that's $2 a pound. Go up here, $30 for 14 pounds. So it's about the same price, just a little bit cheaper. Going around and down to the ground, and you see $19.99 for 20 pounds. That's $1 a pound. That's a 50% savings. So instead of paying $2 a pound, you're paying $1 a pound. And this is to supplement my chicken feed. And if you think you can handle 40 pounds, kind of these sunflowers, you can get it for $30, so it's 75 cents a pound. So this is the Royal Wing brand, 40 pounds, and these are the small sunflower seeds. The gray ones are way too big for my birds. 75 cents a pound. June 4th, so it's been 5 days on the English lavender. Look at the sprouts. They are definitely sprouting, and a lot of people have told me that you have to cold stratify lavender seeds. I never have. Sometimes though, I'll collect the seeds from the previous year, so they might have been cold stratified naturally, but from this batch I don't believe so. I took them straight from the plants when they were like when it was hot weather. But there have been a few times where I've taken it from the next year where it's been on the plant cold. So you can do that. They do drop some of their seeds if you take it from the second year. Definitely they've lost some of the seeds, but these were not cold stratified. And look at them. And since I opened this, I'm going to just kind of re-moisten it in a spray bottle, so it doesn't dry out at all. Okay, and let's get that lid right back on again. But see, look at that. Definitely works. Definitely works. So the key is don't let them dry out. What does this beautiful lavender have to do with these paper lunch bags? Well, let's get to harvesting some of these seed heads and we'll see. I want to see if you can hear the sound of the seeds dropping into the bag. So I'm going to put them in here. Can you hear that? I'm shaking the seeds free of the flower stalks, I'm going to be transferring the flowers that I've gotten most of the seeds out of into this bag. That way I can let them continue to dry and continue to drop seeds for me. But the bulk of the seeds I'm getting in the first shaking. Shake, like shake and bake, and I helped, right? But you shake it out and thrash it around, shake it really good, and then I'm going to put the flower stalks upside down into this bag, let them continue to dry. I'm going to continue shaking them so I can get quite a bit more flowers, but also because I love the flower stalks and stems for aromatherapy. So this is the first time I've ever had this issue with using this paper bag method. I actually realized that as I was shaking the seeds, some of the seeds were falling out the bottom. And I've done this so many times for so many years, and this has never happened to me before. So in the future, what I would recommend is to put tape on the bottom, like maybe painter's tape across the bottom. It's like make sure that this is covered with painter's tape, and that way when you shake your bag, your seeds don't fall out. So I'm still going to use the paper bags for drying my flowers, but I'm not going to shake them in the bag anymore because I was losing so many seeds. But you can see in here there's a lot of chaff in there, which I can work free. But when you shake them, the seeds are heavier and they sink to the bottom. And this, oh my gosh, it smells so good. And the seeds are super, super tiny in there. You see how the flowers here have these tiny little holes at the top? That's how you know when it's time to harvest the seeds, because they are dry enough, they're completely open, and the seeds will fall right out. Another thing is, when I snip off the lavender, I'm going to go down to where I see the first new growth right there. See, it looks kind of gray. I'm going to snip it right above that. Okay, and I'm going to, that will allow me to have my plant keep going and producing more flowers for next year. This is how you know that it's time to harvest your lavender seeds. Here's a large bag of lavender I harvested from years ago, and you can see down in the bottom of the bag there are quite a bit of seeds. Oh, I have to probably remove all this so you can see it too. I'm going to actually use this to mulch around some of my plants. I decided I'm going to mulch around the wild strawberries that I planted in a previous video. I'll link that video in the comment section. But I'm going to go ahead and chop up some of this chaff and put it around here. It will also confuse pests because it's so highly aromatic, and then I will still have the seeds from the bottom of the bag. When I say chaff, C-H-A-F-F, talking about this material here, it's much lighter, so when you shake it, the seeds fall to the bottom, and this kind of like almost like floats above it, so it's easy. You can just blow it off. I like to use it around my plants. If I miss a seed, maybe it would sprout, but I like to use like a little mulch around my plants, and I think it looks really pretty. I've been removing some of the chaff so it's easier to see the seeds. So as you shake it, you can see how it separates, and the chaff is at the top. It's lighter. Like that. So look at those seeds, and I'm not even done. I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to get lavender seeds, but the thing is, you can't harvest your flowers. You have to let them go to full maturity and dry out, and then it'll look like they have these like little pores on the top of the flowers. That's the opening that when a a breeze brushes by or an animal brushes by, the seeds fall out. So that's a lot of seeds in here. That's hundreds of plants in here right now. And watch my videos on how to sprout lavender, because it really is super easy. I'm also giving them one last shake. These are my old seeds from probably a couple years ago. Giving them one last shake to see if there any more seeds fall out. And then I'm adding them here as mulch. One thing I like about using flowers and chaff as a mulch is that it's so light. My plants can grow through it, but at the same time, it really does help retain moisture. It looks really pretty. This smells amazing, which is going to attract the right kind of pollinators and confuse and discourage pests. And if I miss a seed or two, it's always a possibility that they'll grow here, which makes me feel like nothing is wasted. Since the seeds are heavier, they sink to the bottom, and the stuff on the top is all chaff. And I'm being careful not to really bury my plants, but the chaff is so light that these can grow through it no problem. I'm just like not putting like 2 inches or 3 inches above the plants. But these are straw berries, so material that's this light is perfect for mulching around them. Material, get all those seeds to the bottom, and then you can just reach right in. Double check. Looks like I'm just getting chaff and no seeds. If I get a seed, I can knock it down. I'm really just getting what's on the top. And when I do it this way, if I lose a seed and it goes to the soil, I'm not as concerned, because I feel like there's always that chance in nature that one of them might sprout, and that's okay with me. Just a little bit more chaff to go. One trick to separating chaff from seeds is to blow the chaff away. What's up to my hands? Seeds. This really works. They fall into the crevices of your fingers. Hold your hand tight together. You can put these on a paper plate and do the same thing. See? I'm separating the seeds from the chaff. These seeds are older. So I can go ahead and bag these up, and they will definitely sprout. Some people throw away seeds after a couple years. That's ridiculous. Now, some seeds need to be planted sooner than others, but these will be perfectly good planting for several years. And I think this looks super cool. Until I'm ready to bag up my seeds, I can leave them in the paper bag. And this one is not dropping any of the seeds. It's so satisfying not having to waste anything. There's a spider on my arm. blew it off. It smells so good, even 2 years later. I just want to get the chaff out. This is probably like 99% chaff. I love this. I think this looks so pretty. So you can see these Gladiolus flowers have done their thing. And I like to take the flowers out when they're super dry. And then, you don't have to do this, I like to mulch in my flower beds with the flowers. And then after that, they are not, the seeds are not ripe, so you gotta let them continue to mature and dry. But this one is ready, so you can tell because it's like completely brown. We're gonna go ahead and cut this stalk, and I think I'll go right, I don't want to cut the leaf, I'll go right here. And then I'm going to show you the seeds. I've got my bag ready to go, and if I wanted to, I could just cut this into a couple segments and place it upside down in the bag. But I could also go ahead and pop these pods open and take the seeds out now, which is what I'm going to do. So, don't you love all that street noise? I'm just kidding. So, open up the chaff. And inside here, these are the seeds. This is what a seed looks like. I'm going to go ahead and remove all the seeds, and I'm going to put them in the paper bag to continue drying, because I like to make sure that my seeds are completely dried before I packet them up. See? These are perfect. Now, I wouldn't do that blow on the seeds trick with these, because these are very papery and they'll just fly off. So that trick I showed you earlier with the lavender, it works with seeds that are heavier and more dense than the chaff around it. But these seeds are just about the same as the chaff around it. And the seeds are inside those little husks. There's no purpose removing them from that. It doesn't make any difference, so I'm not going to waste my time. So you just remove the seeds, and this can be mulch. This is what the seeds look like. And the gladiolus, my hands are really dirty because I've been working in the garden, but when you plant these, when they sprout, they'll look like little blades of grass, just like the gladiolus, the plants, but really super tiny. So make sure that you mark your seeds, put them in a pot or something, mark them as gladiolus, because you might think it's just grass, which you can have the same mistake with like crocus, like the saffron crocus also look kind of like blades of grass, like maybe a different variety of grass or something. But be careful with like saffron crocus and with gladiolus, like when they're growing, they look, if they're growing from seed, they take a lot longer than from a corm. The bulb of a gladiolus is called a corm. They also form like these little tiny nodules all underneath the corm, which are other corms, like just tiny ones. So if you pull up your corm and you transplant those, they will also be very tiny when they start growing. But these are from seed. Because I had them all together, I had pink, white, and like a burgundy purple all in the same area. So this could be anything. These are mixed colors. This right here is not a seed. It's just chaff. If you aren't sure, you can, you can plant it. We basically separate the chaff from the seed because our preference, like honestly, if you planted the chaff, it would just biodegrade. But if you're sending seeds to somebody, you have to make sure that you're only giving them seeds. Here's another seed pod. And it looks like some of them might have already fallen out. But there's a good number of them right here. Seed saving is so satisfying. When you buy gladiolus, you're probably going to be buying the corms. Sometimes people will call them bulbs, but they're not bulbs. And they are perennial in my zone 8. I don't know how far one way or the other. Do you know that gladiolus are named for what the blades of the foliage look like a gladiator's blade? And they were first found in Africa, and they've been cultivated in many countries since then. So I find seed saving therapeutic. Oops, don't lose you. Put those in the bag. Remember that trick to blow the chaff away does not work with these. People who are really have an industrialized setup, they actually will put seeds and have fans and other equipment to remove the seeds. So I got a good number of seeds out of that one. And remember, the plant also makes corms. So I'm going to get multiple babies from each plant. I'm going to get the corms from the bottom. I'll separate those out, and I also have the seeds. As soon as you gather your seeds, you want to roll it down, pinch it down, maybe put a little clamp on it or something. If you're doing something else in the garden, put them inside. Otherwise, they will blow away, especially in a light container like this. And if your seeds fall over the ground, like this has happened to me so many times, you'll regret it. So grab a rock, weigh it down with a rock or something, put a little clamp on it so it's heavy and that the seeds can't fall out. So I hope you use that tip, because otherwise you're going to get super frustrated. To continue drying, I'm placing the lavender from last year and this year in this other paper bag, and I'll just hang it up and let it continue to dry. So the seeds don't fall out of the cup while they're drying, I put another cup inside of it. There's like several centimeters on the bottom to give it airflow while it dries, but that way I don't lose them if this spills. And I'm placing the cups inside the same container with the other seeds so I keep it all together. But the cup full of seeds is on the bottom, and I put another paper cup on top of that. The paper is permeable, so it'll continue to dry, and I also didn't put them together very tightly. That way there's airflow. And now it's just time to find sanctuary in the shade because it's getting super hot. I did enough work. I have hummingbird nectar cooling in the kitchen. When it's cool enough, I'm going to fill up the hummingbird feeders. They've already been out drinking, but it's time to refresh their feeders. And I'm really happy. Oh, also, I'm growing a common American primrose, and they're blooming really beautifully. They can grow like a weed, but they're native, and the hummingbirds and bees now have something fresh and new to nibble on. So I like to keep them really interested. I'm not just giving them nectar from the feeders now, I'm giving them like an abundance of flowers throughout the whole season. So I like to grow a huge variety of flowers. So today we gathered the lavender seeds, I mulched around the wild strawberries with chaff from previous years. I was able to separate even more seeds from those previous years, which you need to plant your oldest seeds first. That's good to have a seed rotation. All right, everybody, I did a lot today and the last several days, so I'm super tired. I'm gonna go relax in the shade and finish up everything else I have here. God bless you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. I'll see you in the next video.